Hello, and welcome to Lumpia and Latkes. I'm Jay, a Filipino American.
And I'm Mitch, an American Jew. We are friends and coworkers who riff all day at work and decided to create this podcast for extended conversations on anything that intrigues us.
We won't always get it right, but we'll do what we can. Thanks for joining us. This episode, airports and airplanes. That is the topic of the week. But before we get to that, we will start with a correction, our first correction ever on this show.
That's right.
Unfortunately, we were misinformed. On the last episode, we made a mention of Denny's and IHOP going bankrupt. That is simply not the case. While they are closing many locations, over 100 locations per each one of those restaurants, it's still not going out of business.
Right.
I believe some states are going out of business, but still, the entire company, they're not out of business as of yet. So we wish them the best of luck. We apologize for the misinformation. We will try to do better. So from there, let's go on with our topic of the week: airports and airplanes. Well, the first thing I think of is baggage. When I think of airports and airplanes, getting your luggage, getting your baggage,
right,
your carry-on, your personal item, your checked bags.
Yeah.
You don't really go for a checked bag. At least when we do our training stuff, you don't usually get a checked bag. You get a carry-on, right?
If I go like on a short trip, like 3 days, I go in on I leave on Wednesday. I try to come back on Friday. I try to shove as much as I can into a carry-on bag and then a carry-on suitcase and then my backpack, and that's it. Believe me, shoving an Xbox in there with the controller and a laptop in there and all that fun little jazz. It's not easy.
We're still talking about your carry-on bag, right? We're not talking about...
Yes, and then my suitcase. Right. Yes, funny.
In your suitcase.
And then the suitcase,
sure.
I just shove all my clothes in there. I mean, rolling method works best. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, you roll up your clothes and but then you get the wrinkles.
Not actually. No, you don't.
You don't?
No, it's not that bad. I have done it several times now, especially with the little short trips and everything. And I'll take them out, and if you roll it tightly enough, it does not wrinkle. Pretty cool.
Well, okay. Well, we talked about this too. That when I go on a trip, I bring along a travel steam iron, steamer.
Yeah,
not steam iron, a steamer.
Toot toot.
Yeah, toot. Yes, toot, my brother.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just easy. Just pack it in there, and I never had a TSA agent stop me saying, "What's that?" They're like, "Oh, okay."
Right.
It doesn't register anything on that their little scanning thing, whatever it is.
Right.
It's usually pretty good to go.
Right.
And also, I don't unpack when I get to the hotel. I just don't.
I do.
I know. Yeah, you do. You like to unpack.
I go through. I put them in the drawers. I put my stuff away, and as I go through my clothes, I pack it back in the suitcase.
Okay.
That way, when I'm done and it's my last day, pretty much everything is back in the suitcase and it's ready to go.
Okay.
Makes things easier for me, man. It really does.
Okay.
Now, if like, for example, that's just for a couple of days. Now, if I got to go like a week, if I can cram enough clothes into that carry-on for the plane, I will try it. I have not been completely successful thus far. I tried it once for 1 week, and while it worked, I had to wash some clothes again about midway through the week, which, hey, that's the price you pay. But I would much rather next time I just said to myself, you know what, alleviate that hassle. I'm just going to, check my bag in. And at that point I will,
Right. Well, at some point also they have, they'll have too many bags that are carried on. I mean, that's the other thing too. You have to worry about overhead bin space because at some point they run out of that space and they're like, okay, anything that's left over will just need to be checked. And then at that point, it's like, well, if you carried it on, you probably have something you don't want checked because you're like, well, there's stuff in here that's valuable to me, that's important to me that I don't want checked and tossed around by some, person of the airline who doesn't care much about my baggage.
Then you better, my rebuttal to that, sir, is you better make sure whatever it is you pack, you understand that you may have to check that bag in.
100% true. Yes.
And that's typically what I do as well.
Yeah, but that's also a fault of the airline too, because they overbook.
Sure,
They typically oversell
sure.
these seats, and then people that end up on standby, or then they have the announcement at the beginning of the flight that says, if anybody wants to get off this flight because we seem to be overbooked or overweight capacity, we'll gladly give you a gift card of some sort
For
or
five
like a flight
dollars.
voucher. Yeah, no, I mean they
No, they
depending on
typically they'll
the
reimburse you for your flight
yeah
value, but it's usually a
yeah
voucher for your value. They
yeah
never give you an actual cash value. You know what I
right
mean? They never
right.
give you cash for it these days.
Right.
Typically, they don't.
I've seen where they've done like $1,000 before. I've seen that on
Sure,
TikTok where
sure.
someone
They
they were
can go
having a
up there.
thousand
Yep.
bucks over.
If
Yeah.
they are desperate, then they can certainly up the
Mm-hmm.
ante, if you will. It's interesting you
Right.
mentioned the whole baggage and carrying it on as well, because I had
Mm.
a bit of a grievance myself when I was traveling the last time for training, and it was the fact that
Mm-hmm.
I did mine through Delta. Okay, I just chose Delta, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
flights that I typically choose because I like some of the extra amenities on the plane and all that kind of jazz. So anyway, one of the things I did find was I've been a Delta member for several years, but I haven't used the app. And I haven't, and so like my membership renews itself every year. So if I wanted to be in like zone 1 for boarding, I had to pay extra for that. Well, the company's
Mm-hmm.
paying for this, so I'm not paying for it. So I got zone 6, and I'm like, whoa, wait
Mm-hmm.
a second. People are boarding the plane, and I had a decent seat. I was on the wing, going to Atlanta and coming back. I was pretty much on the wing, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
well, shoot, I'm in zone 6. People are going to be boarding past me. I was worried about whether or not my seat, I could actually
Mm-hmm.
put my luggage overhead right by my seat. Now,
Mm-hmm.
fortunately for me, I think I found something. I may have found one on one flight that was like 2 or 3 rows behind me, and as soon as I got up, it was there's typically your experienced travelers that are out there give that courtesy of grabbing that suitcase and handing it over to you rather than
Yes.
having you
Right.
walk back or try and say,
Right.
okay, keep going, guys, and then pissing off the people in my row or something to
Right.
that effect. But there are some very nice frequent flyer people that will grab the bag and hand it to me, which they did this time, and it was fine. But then, of course, the other option to me is, well, shoot, you know what? I'm just gonna put my suitcase in the first open spot I can find before I get to my seat, to my aisle.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
that's also being semi rude to
Yeah. To the
cut
people
to
that sit
other
in that,
people
that
that could be
area.
sitting
Yeah.
in that area.
Right.
So
Right.
where's the happy medium?
Yeah.
You know,
It's tough.
where's that
Because at
happy
the end of
medium?
it, yeah, when people are trying to put away their baggage, like
Right,
you just gotta stick it anywhere at that point. And
right.
then and most times it's just like, I just stick it underneath the person's chair in front of you, and it's like,
Well, see, that's
well,
that's the other thing too. I have 2 carry-ons. I have my backpack and I have my
okay,
suitcase. So my
yeah,
backpack
yeah,
goes underneath the suitcase, underneath the thing in the seat in front of me.
mm-hmm,
That's how it's always been for me. That's how I've always
yeah,
done it. So, not always, but that's how I typically will do it whenever I'm traveling for a couple of days. And it usually works out pretty well. And there's not usually any
mm-hmm,
confusion or problems as far as that goes. So far, I've not really had bad experiences as far as that portion goes. But anyways, the baggage portion, yeah, I mean, dude, nowadays they're charging you extra for your luggage. Just if you're going to check it in,
mm-hmm.
you got to pay for that. You got to pay to check in your
Yep.
luggage in most of these
Did
of these
you
flights.
see? Did you see that? Again, another TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
where people were taking their pillows, like full on pillowcases, and
Mm-hmm.
just shoving them full of their clothes, and like, oh, I'm being smart, I'm breaking the system, and then people caught on to that there because everyone's watching
Yes.
TikTok, and then
Yes.
they're like, okay, you can't do that anymore, and they're catching people,
Yes.
and people are getting upset. It's like you're trying to break the system. You know you're trying to break the system.
Right.
Like, what are you really doing here? What's the point?
Well,
Like, just stick to the system, go with it.
look, we are sheep being herded into a plane.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
we are
yeah.
being crammed into it's. I hate. I'll use the phrase. It's 5 pounds of shit in a 1 pound shit bag.
Mm,
Okay, you got to cram everything in there. Let's just use some common courtesy with each other because we know we're all getting cramped in these planes, and we all gotta sit there and endure it for whatever length that is, as far as the
right.
flight is concerned, the flight time and everything else. Some of these larger planes that might go longer distances, I still think they're just as crammed. It's even more people actually, and it's still just as
Yeah.
crammed. I don't think you're going to get a Comfort Plus. Great, they give you what, 3 inches more leg room. Okay, woohoo!
Yeah.
The only plane that actually does any good for us is first class, and I can tell you when it comes to first class, one of our coworkers, because I was talking to him today about it, I think he said he picked Delta. He was just curious, and he wanted to see how much a flight was from where we live, which is in Virginia, to California. I think he said Los Angeles, San Diego, something like that. I can't remember what it was. It is $500 one-way ticket for economy. Guess how much a first class ticket is?
I'm not a good guesser. I'm going to say double.
No, $1,700.
Wow, even more. Holy crap.
Triple. Over triple.
That's insane.
Over triple. Now,
jeez.
I mean, that is absolutely nuts. Now, I can tell you my cousin as well, he works for a very good company, and he has to come up for trips every so often. He lives down in Alabama, and he has to come up for trips up in Northern Virginia. But he comes home because his parents that still live there in the southeastern portion of Virginia, and he'll come home. He'll take a flight home into Norfolk. I'm a native. I was born in Norfolk. I say Norfolk. Whatever.
Norfolk.
I say Norfolk. I'm a native Norfolkian. Anyway, he comes in, flies into there, and then gets a rental and drives up to Northern Virginia where he does his work and all that kind of stuff. He books the flight under economy, or as economy, if you will. Actually, he books it as first class. And what he does is he splits the cost in the expense system. So that way he'll pay for the upcharge to first class, and then the company is billed for just the economy. Or business class, or the business class portion. That's what he does. And he's a big guy. He's 6'4", 6'3", about 260, 270. He's a big guy. And he's like, I can sit in those seats back there. I'm not going to sit in those seats back there, and I can afford to pay for this. So I'm going to pay for I'll pay for the upcharge. And you know what? Right. Kudos for him for doing that. I think that's a wonderful thing. But that doesn't always apply to everybody. I know we got off topic. We were just talking about baggage, sir. So let's go back to the baggage thing. We can always get back into the seats and all that stuff here in a little bit.
Well, no, I mean we've already talked a lot about baggage already. I mean, other than it's limited space, and again, like they really like. I get it. You have weight distribution concerns, but at the same time, like how many? What's the word for it? How many
pounds? What's the max limit? The max load capacity, or something like that?
How many? No. It's how many simple, I guess, luxuries are we going to give up?
Sure.
The airlines are changing the seats as far as like. We talked about this one with Europe, like having the stacked seats, and you're at someone's butt.
Oh yeah.
It's like how many things are we going to have taken away from us? These simple comforts. That's what it is. Creature comforts. And
creature comforts. Like, sure.
Because the airlines are just they're unchecked. It's like when people are on their seats and. People are arguing about whether someone wants to recline or not. It's like that's all you're getting. It's not even that much recline space. But then again, you're leaning in someone's lap a little bit, and it's like where's the point where we're going to push back and people are like, you know what? I get it. You're trying to get as many people to their destination as possible, but at the price of comfort, I'm not really sure where the line is.
I honestly can remember. I was 6 years old on my first plane ride. And one of the things that I remember, I got the window seat on the way back, I think it was. I had to use the bathroom. So I was like, hey, Mom, I got to go use the bathroom. Well, there was a guy sitting at the aisle. My mom was sitting in the middle seat. And she says, okay, honey, no problem. And she put up the tray, just put up the tray. And the gentleman put up the tray. And me scooting sideways, I was able to go out into the aisle. And walk down the aisle to go to the restroom. Nobody had to get up. Nobody had to get up at all. That was 84, I think it was 83, something like that. 1984.
That's born. Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
Man,
jeez. Now
man,
you're
you're
making me
old.
show my
Wow,
age.
you're
I
old.
know.
Holy crap.
77. 77.
Gen X?
So, yep, yep. No, we're not going there.
No, we're
Okay.
not going
Yeah,
there.
we're not going
We're
there.
not
Nope,
going
that's
there.
another episode.
No,
That's
no,
another
no.
episode.
Yes, it will be.
So, so, yeah, so I can remember that. And then now, I took my daughter to California last year.
Mm,
She's got to go to the bathroom. Everybody in that aisle's got to get out
yeah.
so she can go because she's in the window aisle. I'm
Hmm.
screwed. You're still rooting. They crammed
Yeah.
it all in.
Yeah. I mean, on the regular size planes, yes, but they have that smaller one too, like the one that has like two seats in them. One that's easy; anybody can get up.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like those
absolutely.
planes. Those are
Hmm.
like they're
Yep.
meant for shorter trips, but I mean, it
Yeah,
feels so much better. It's
I
like,
call them puddle jumpers.
yeah. I mean,
Yep.
those are fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so let's go with TSA, right? TSA is a big
Okay.
part of your travel experience. They make sure everything is safe, of course. They try to make sure
Yep.
they catch
Yep.
all the restricted items and all that stuff, and stuff that, would, maybe like lithium batteries or whatever, all that
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
stuff. But TSA, there's a lot of controversy with TSA. I mean, you have to stand in your line, and you can pay for a TSA pre-check. If you're a frequent traveler, you probably should be paying for a TSA pre-check.
Hmm.
But for the average person, it's like depends on the airport, I guess. Like
Yes.
at Norfolk International, one that's near us. I've never really had a problem. I mean, yes, you do have to stand in line, but I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it depends on when your flight is and where you're going. I mean, there's a lot of variables here.
That's right. That's right. Now, of course, the new thing that came into effect back in May of 2025 of this year is that real ID. Everybody's got to
Yeah,
use that now.
right.
That is in full compliance now. So you got to
Hmm.
have that done. Otherwise, you cannot get on a plane.
Hmm.
That's one of their real big things that came into effect this year. So that's a big important
But they
thing.
still take the other forms of identification, right? They still take a regular ass passport,
Passport will
passport
work.
ID card. They had the passport
Passport will
card,
work.
right?
I think so. I think
Yeah,
so.
I have one of those. I think they take that for domestic travel.
Yes.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I think that qualifies under the acceptable form of
Right,
identification.
right.
So yeah, I think that works just fine.
Yeah,
Okay, I really do. But yeah, I mean, TSA is there to try and help and be nice
yeah.
and all that fun jazz. And you know what? I guess it really depends on the equipment that they're using and
Mm-hmm.
the airport that has that certain equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know Norfolk Airport. I got to take off my shoes. I got to take off my
Right.
shoes.
And your
I
belt.
don't do and my belt and everything out of my pockets
Yep.
and put it all in the bin and
Mm-hmm.
put all the rest of my stuff in the bins. I don't remember if I have to. I think the last time they told me I didn't need to put my suitcase in a bin this time. This last time, just
Oh,
put it
really?
on the track,
Okay.
and they scanned everything. I didn't have to take my
Hmm.
Xbox out. I didn't have to take my computer out.
How long ago was this?
All that. This was this year, earlier this year.
Oh, okay.
It was earlier this year. But then in Atlanta, shoes. Got to take off the shoes. Got to take off the belt. Got to take everything out of my pockets. Got to take the laptop out. Got to take the Xbox out. All that's got to be out. It cannot be in a bag. It has to be individually scanned, and that's just the way they do it in Atlanta.
Hmm.
I don't know if their equipment is the exact same as that in Norfolk. I couldn't tell you. There are other places as well. I'm sure it's pretty much the same kind of scenario. And
Yeah.
it's fine. It's okay. Yes. Does it take time? Yes. Is it a pain in the arse? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Does the pre-TSA check help out in some ways? Absolutely, it does.
Yeah.
My father has already told me. He's like, that thing to him was worth his weight in gold simply because he doesn't have to take his shoes off.
Yep.
I was like, really? And he was like, look, if you go to the airport more than 3 times a year, 4 times a year, get it. It's worth it. It's good for
Mm-hmm.
what, 3 years or something like that. It's like $85. It's good for
Right.
a whole 3 years. He said to him, it was worth every penny. So hey, if that's what you want, I'm sure there's other amenities too that come along with it as well. I'm not 100% certain on that though.
You got a free bag of peanuts in the TSA line?
No bag of no bag of nuts.
No,
Nope.
no.
No
Peanut
nuts. No
allergies.
nuts at all.
Peanut
Right.
allergies. It's amazing that they
Exactly.
found that out later. I guess they just didn't have the research and they just didn't think about it. But like having peanut allergies and peanut dust in
Hmm.
in a environment where the air is recirculated, you're never gonna get the
Right.
peanut dust
Right.
out. It's like, how did they
Nope.
not think of that? Did they not think of allergies were that serious? I mean,
Well, they did. They finally they don't serve nuts on board anymore.
oh yeah, now, but they used to.
Yeah, now. They used to. Yep, they used to. It just didn't seem to be as big of a deal.
I guess.
You know, I guess because some people that have some peanut allergies are not as susceptible to that allergy as others, perhaps. And hey, it's a shame, that these things happen with people and stuff like that. But
Yes.
Nowadays, because it is such a now more prominent awareness of this particular kind of allergy and what can happen in that regard, places are now being more open about, hey, this place may have nuts, in it, the like Dairy Queen, for example. And I'm not don't mean to sidetrack it, but at least now they've made such a good awareness of this allergy that they have stopped using it in planes. They stopped out, distributing it on the planes, which is a great thing.
Yeah, and then speaking of nuts, how can they have to see me naked when I go to the TSA full body scanner?
Okay, it doesn't hold on to it. It just quickly scans the body, and that's it. It's okay. It's no big deal.
I don't get why they have to see you naked. I get it. You want to make sure that you're checking all the areas and you're seeing if there's anything of concern. But does it really have to show the person naked? Like, I mean, yes, it's an outline. It's a rendition.
Outline.
It's a computer rendition.
Crappy 3D rendering.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like there should be no reason you have to see my junk. Really,
You know what? I really don't care. Okay. I really don't care. It doesn't bother me any. You know why? Because they don't keep it on file. They don't keep it stored.
Well, they tell you that.
They tell us that. Yeah.
I mean, exactly. I go back after you go to the TSA. I'm like, hey, can I get a copy of his scan? I just need that real quick. I got my SD card right here. Just copy it over. Appreciate it.
Exactly. It's those guys in the booths that are a little further away. I mean, and they're all sitting down quietly, because they don't want to be standing because then they'll show all their boners and stuff like that.
Right. That's right.
They gotta be obscure about that whole thing. Jeez Louise. You're such a ninny. That's great. Love it.
Such a silly Billy. Oh.
Right. Exactly. But see. But see, you can't bring certain liquids through. TSA restricts the type of liquids. I think it's like 3 ounces, 4 ounces. I don't remember the specific number. Something like that.
That's typically why I don't bring that stuff with me. If I go somewhere, I end up finding a Walmart. I buy it there. I'll buy the little travel things there.
Amazingly enough, when I went to California with the family last year, the wife had packed a body spray in her bag, right? In the carry-on, I believe it was. I'm pretty sure. I believe it was in the carry-on. I can't confirm that it was in the carry-on on the way there. I can just confirm that on the way back, when we were leaving California, they stopped us. Two reasons. One, I had a bottle of water on the side of my bag. 2, she had her body spray. The lady just looked at me and says, "Do you want the bottle of water?" "No, ma'am, throw it away." She said, "Body spray?" And I was like, "Oh." I looked at the wife and she was like, "Throw it away. We got to get on the plane." I was like, "Okay." And we were talking about it, she's like, "That was in the bag on the way here. I know it was in the bag on the way here because it was I put it in the toiletry bag." And one of my rules of thumb that I always do is whenever I'm traveling, anything that is anything that I do with my carry-on, I typically have my toiletry bag in my carry-on and my medicine in my carry-on, because God forbid, should something happen with the check-in stuff, I still have my toiletries and I still have my medicine. So I was like, "Yeah, I think you did have it in your toiletry bag. And wait a minute, we did carry that onto the plane. How did that go unnoticed?" No way it could have gone unnoticed. I was like, "No, you're mistaken. It had to have been in the suitcase." And she swears up and down that it was not. So it made it through Norfolk, but it didn't make it back from California.
That's
craziest thing.
That's
craziest thing.
That's
right. Odd. So you got your different sizes and everything, but then see, and to me, it's kind of crazy. So they'll do that. They won't allow the liquids and everything. But you were saying you brought pastries back one time from Atlanta.
Yep, that's right.
You went to Atlanta.
So in Atlanta, whenever I go to these little business trips, I like to bring back. I like to go to these. It's the weirdest thing. It's a French Korean bakery. They always have them like in these big cities. They're very good. There's this place called White Windmill that's over there in Atlanta. Very
Okay.
delicious, good stuff. But I bring
Shout
them
out to
back
White
for
Windmill.
yeah. Shout out to White Windmill. Love them. They're very good. Hope they will sponsor. No, okay. Anyway,
No, no,
no, they won't do that.
no,
But no,
no, not at
yeah.
all.
I bring back a whole bunch of pastries. And they're like cream filled, like little pastry buns and stuff.
Right,
And
right.
I go back through TSA and I put it in my carry-on, and
Yep.
they scan it and it gets flagged, and then they look at it and said, "Okay, you're good to go." But I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, so it doesn't flag anything else. You don't think I can? I guess there's a different kind of scanner in that. More so than just looking at shapes is also going through the actual
Sure, sure,
the
sure.
buns themselves. It's like there's nothing
Right,
in here because I'm like,
right.
can I hide something in it? I'm not going to. God
Sure.
forbid, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm sure they have some sort of technology that actually penetrates through the buns too. It's like,
Hmm.
all right, there's no, I don't know, weed or I don't know something, cannabis, crack cocaine, all the good stuff that is from your childhood. There's none of that. Um,
You know,
none
you
of that's
bring
in
up a
there.
very, you actually bring up an interesting point
Mm,
right there with the
mm,
vapes and all that kind of stuff, because
yes.
I'm pretty sure that people would bring their, I mean, people, I was a former smoker. I
Mm,
was also a former vapor. And I've got family members, my aunt and uncle still smoke. And I can honestly tell you, they can't go very long without a cigarette. And
mm-hmm.
I understand that. Okay. They can go maybe an hour, maybe two without a cigarette. And then they're
Right.
like jonesing. And of course, their airports, I think they still offer some locations for smoking. I
Mm-hmm.
think. I don't know. Some airports may no longer do it. I have no idea. Anyways, vaping. I know that you can get the liquid THC
Hmm.
in the little canisters to vape. And
Okay.
people vape with their regular liquid. I'll bet you dollars to donuts that people are probably bringing those on the planes and nobody's knowing it.
Yeah. I mean, as long as it's not, scented, because a lot of those vapes are like scented. Like, that's what I hate about the vapes. I mean, it's off topic, but I mean, you're walking around, and all of a sudden you smell like cinnamon rolls, and it's like, oh man, I can really
Right,
go for something. It's
right.
like
Yeah,
some dude
exactly.
just smoking his vape. I'm like, come on, man.
Exactly. But I mean, they got all sorts of different flavors on it, and that liquid THC. I know
Yeah,
liquid THC is a thing, so
yeah,
it just dawned on me all of a sudden. I'm like, you know what?
yeah.
These people are probably bringing in the
They
liquid
probably
THC
are.
in regular canisters or
Yeah,
whatever,
probably
right onto the freaking plane,
unscented. Yeah, and they just
unscented and
yeah.
or flavored, or they mix it with their flavor, if you will,
Well, the
and
whole
they
thing would have to
automatically.
be unscented because if you like the guy with the fucking cinnamon roll smelling thing,
Right, right, right,
you will
right.
smell it instantly because it's in the air. But if you have it
Well, you'll smell cinnamon roll, but liquid
yeah,
THC doesn't have a smell,
okay,
as far
okay.
as I know.
I
I
don't,
don't know.
I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know anything about
I wouldn't think
drugs.
it would have
I
a
don't know
smell.
anything
I
about
don't
that.
know. I honestly I don't know. It's been many, 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 many moons. So
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, that's a
yeah. It's
that's a
just one of those
good
things.
question about
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
I'll bet you dollars to donuts. And
yeah.
then yeah, let's take this one step further now too.
Hmm.
I know I'm slightly off topic, but let's take this one step further. What about gummies?
Oh yeah,
The edibles,
yeah.
all the edible foods, all the THC edible foods. I mean, take that outside of the bag that it came in and just put it in a regular plastic bag or whatever.
Yeah,
I bet you could carry that sucker onto the plane without anybody
maybe.
noticing.
I mean,
Or
I
how
think
would they not? How would they know?
I feel like there's something in the whole process of having like checking the chemical composition, like these things. I feel like I've seen that on like remember that old airline show, the one that on A&E. I think I used to be
Okay,
on A&E.
okay,
They stopped many people for drugs like traces and residue of drugs. I think there is something to
interesting,
that. Yeah,
interesting. Okay,
not
maybe there
100%.
is. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not sure
I
either.
don't know. But who's to say that some of these like edible gummies
Yeah,
look like a freaking vitamin?
yeah, true.
You know, they're
Yeah.
not going to know the difference. You put it with your bag, you stick it in a plastic bag, and they're like, "Hey, what's this? My vitamins." Really? I've never seen a vitamin look like this before. You pull it up on your phone. Here you go. There you
Yeah,
go. There's a vitamin.
here's
It
my
looks just
vitamin.
like that.
Yeah,
They're not going to know the difference
they're
unless they
not going
sit
to know.
there and test it. And I don't think they have anything that can actually test that quickly for a drug. I'm just saying. I don't think it does. I mean, maybe
No,
you just said they do,
I
so
think
maybe
they
they
might.
do.
I mean, because that was an old show, that airline show. If you haven't watched it, you should. It's I
No, no,
just
I
from
haven't.
A&E. You can still find it on some sort of streaming apps, I'm sure. Man, I used to watch that for hours because it's just so fascinating. I've always been fascinated with airlines and airports and just the way everything
Sure,
works.
sure.
Even just going to the
Absolutely, man.
airport itself and just sitting there and just people watching, just seeing where people are
Yeah,
going and seeing what's
yeah,
happening. Airports are very busy and it's just fun to watch.
absolutely.
Also, speaking of being at airports, gift shops and restaurants, right? So, do you eat? I'm sure you eat. Like, do you eat like at the restaurants when you're there waiting for your flight?
Sometimes,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, if as long as if the company's paying for it, why not? Sure.
Yeah, hell yeah. I ain't gonna miss out
I
on a
mean,
free meal. No.
I mean, well, but yes, I have eaten there.
Yeah.
And what in the hell is wrong with these places, man?
Yeah.
Their prices are just
Yeah,
astronomically high.
astronomical. Yeah, because of the fact that they know they've got you. They're like, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
You've already
yeah,
gone, like, especially if you've gone past TSA, you're not going
right,
back. You're stuck.
right,
And they know they
exactly.
got you. Like, if you
And you
want to
can,
get something from the, what is it, Hudson News, like, good luck.
right,
It's
right.
also going to be
Yep,
extremely expensive. And that's just a bag of
exactly.
chips. Like, no.
So the last time I went through Norfolk, I was looking at that, and there
Mm-hmm.
is a bag of pistachios, unshelled pistachios. Okay, like regular
Mm-hmm.
flavor. It was like $20 for this bag
Ooh.
of pistachios.
Wow.
$20. Regular price at like a grocery store for that same size is half that price. Half that price.
Damn.
I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding me, guys.
Yep.
They got you. You got to pay for it. And
Yep.
I'm just like, what the heck? Okay, you're done. But
Mm-hmm.
that's just like, okay, that's just robbery, man. I'm
I
sorry.
mean,
That's
it's
just, I'm
very
sorry.
much akin to how theme parks work, except at least in the theme park, you've usually got like a re-entry pass. You go past TSA, you're not going back in.
Yep. Yeah. Theme park and sporting events and
Yeah,
arenas
yeah.
and, all the arenas and all like that. It's the same
Hmm.
thing. Once you get in there, you're there.
You're
Good luck,
there.
buddy.
Yeah,
Good luck.
you are entering with the understanding of
Yep.
you're going to
Yep.
pay more because
Yep.
that's just how it
Exactly.
is. You're stuck in
Yep.
that ecosystem.
Yep.
And then the gift shops. I mean, I've gone to the duty free shop. I went to a trip that was from here to the Philippines, and on the way
Right.
we stopped. We had a layover in Japan, and getting off, we went to
Okay.
the duty free shop. Man, there's a lot of
Okay.
cool stuff in that duty free shop. It's like I bought some really cool
What is a
pens.
duty free shop?
Duty free shop is where you don't pay any taxes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you never heard of
Okay.
that?
I've never no.
Yeah, in the airports and these other countries, you get off and you can walk around there and buy some souvenirs that are tax free.
Nice.
Yeah, duty free shop. They're fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, of course you're still going to pay increased prices from what you pay outside the airport, but having no
Right.
tax helps that.
Right. Right.
I usually for like souvenirs I'll buy like some pens, maybe a couple T-shirts. I mean I don't really get the like ceramic mugs or anything because I don't want to break anything.
Sure.
I don't think it's
Sure.
going to
I
make it
understand.
there. But you know.
I do shot glasses.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. What are we talking about? Don't you have an extensive collection of shot glasses?
I do. I
Yeah.
do have an extensive collection. It's been a long time since I've counted the full collection, but I believe it's in the area of 500.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah, it's pretty extensive, and I don't have them all out on display.
Oh, okay.
I have like 3 cases that I
Would
have out on
you
display.
would you ever like? I mean, you can buy some cases from like IKEA.
Oh yeah, I actually have like 2 cases still under my stairs in like
Oh, okay.
storage, if you will. But it's one putting them back out, two finding a place to put them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think I actually broke the glass on one of my
Oh
cases.
no,
Yeah, it's okay. It is
that's
what it is.
dangerous.
But I got 3 displays up on
Mm-hmm.
my wall in my stairwell
Mm-hmm.
area, and I literally have stacks upon stacks upon stacks at the top of each one of these cases of just more and more shot glasses.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I have lots of shot glasses.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, and that is going to do it for part one of airports and airplanes. We got a lot to unpack here. There's more. Hopefully, we'll have more jokes for you on the next one. This one had some jokes. We'll have more jokes on the next episode. All right, we'll see y'all in part two. Bye bye.
Bye.
Would you rather There's a mom and pop bookstore in Williamsburg that has a fantastic selection of books in general, but the one that caught my eye is a coffee table book titled Would You Rather? The Outrageous Book of Bizarre Choices, written in 2001 by Workman Publishing. I'm going to flip through the pages and we will find out which choices we would indeed rather. Would you rather have an X-Acto knife blade shoved under your thumbnail or have your nipple cut off with scissors?
I think the X-Acto under the fingernail, because I know that thing's going to hurt like a son of a gun, and that would really really hurt. But that's going to heal. I mean, thinking logically speaking, that's going to heal a lot better versus the
nipple.
The nipple, yeah, taking away
the whole
nipple.
This goes back to, I mean, this is a callback to other Would You Rather of like, right. The nose ring or the nipple ring.
Right, exactly. Would you rather, have a nipple ring ripped off or the nose ring, like lifting like 10 pounds off with it or something?
They both sound excruciatingly painful.
Yes, it does. I'm going to go with the less painful one obviously is going to be ripping off the nipple compared to the fingernail, because they would use torture.
Yeah.
They would use that as torture.
Bamboo shoots underneath the fingernail.
Right,
That's
right.
Chinese.
Did you watch Game of Thrones, buddy?
Oh, no. I mean, not for that. I mean, I watched it for the other stuff back when they had stuff in the season.
I can't think of the guy that did it. Reek. They called him Reek. They changed his name. They called him Reek, and they did stuff like that to his fingers and stuff like that. Yeah, man, that was crazy.
That's awful.
Yeah, absolutely.
The nipple cut off, because again, it's gonna suck, but you will heal, and
I want to feel more pain. Apparently.
Yeah. No, I mean, then you can have a t-shirt on you, and you just cover it up. I don't know. Yeah. The
X-Acto knife on the fingernail, that would heal. It would take time.
That would heal too.
You would probably lose your fingernail. Most likely. I feel like
it's going to be way more excruciating because that is an actual torture technique.
More lasting pain. That would be a lot more lasting pain. Yeah. So I'm the idiot in this one. That's okay.
I mean, paper cuts. No one likes them for a reason. That sounds like an extreme paper cut.
Yes, exactly. All right. While you're at it, give me a paper cut and pour lemon juice all over it.
Yeah. Oh boy. Would you rather? Boy. Yeah, this is not good, but we'll do it anyway. Just what I put it to. Would you rather, in your 12-year-old child's bedroom, find a box of condoms or a bottle of uppers?
What would I rather find? Oh, box of condoms.
Yeah. Drugs are always bad. At least condoms. Hands down. At least condoms, they're trying to do safe sex, which is always important.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, first off, I would. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And wrap your shit. Yeah. I mean, first off, I would as a 12-year-old, I would seriously be having that conversation. Mm-hmm. Although nowadays, I think with most school systems, they pretty much already have taught, have gone through the talk.
Oh yeah.
By that age, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember that. I remember that whole little thing that they did. Mm-hmm. I remember it. I don't know about you, but they literally took us into the cafeteria, all the way in the far corner, and made us watch this video, just the guys in the sixth grade. Yep. And we're all laughing and stuff like that, thinking it's all funny and everything else. Yep.
Separated out by sex.
And shit. Right. Yep. But I'm sorry. No, that's a no-brainer. Condoms. I mean, I'd sit there and have to have the talk with him about it. But I mean, I'd probably look at him and be like, damn, buddy, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. My God, really? Mm-hmm. I mean, are we talking a variety of stuff? Or are we just talking a dozen? Yeah. I mean, it's just the whole concept of a 12-year-old having relations is just, that's insane to me. I mean, I guess it happens. I mean, they got those, they had that TV show from MTV, Sweet 16, right? I know somebody that was, oh, dude, I know somebody that was having sex at junior high.
Yeah.
He and his girl were just going at it every damn day. And I was just like, wow, okay, if that's what you guys want to do,
that's crazy.
Go for it. Crazy. I'm like, whatever. But he never got anybody pregnant.
Oof.
So, not until he got married.
Okay. For me, I'm with you. The condoms, because again, at least they're thinking safe sex. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you find out, they're putting it on their finger and not putting it where they need to put it. This is how it works, right? No, you stupid dumbass. Or these are really cool. These are really cool for animal balloons.
Well, congratulations, son.
Yeah, sure. Jesus. Okay.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's go past that. Would you rather have body odor that can be detected across the yard or be hairy like Bigfoot?
Well, I'm already hairy, so I don't really
I mean,
care.
not like
Well,
Bigfoot, man.
that
You're not all over like,
no, not like
no,
Bigfoot.
no.
You know, like
I
yeah,
mean,
no,
I've
no.
never
This is
checked.
not Harry and the Hendersons
I've
here.
never personally checked, but I can assure you that when we met in person, it doesn't look like you're hairy like Bigfoot. And maybe you are down there. I don't know.
I mean, if you're hairy like Bigfoot, some women find that attractive. Some women find a lot of hair
yeah,
very
yeah,
attractive. So hey, that's perfectly
yeah.
fine. And strangely enough, some women find body odor attractive too.
What?
There are some women out there that are kind of strange like
Really?
that. But
I've
again, oh yeah,
never heard of that. Okay.
oh yeah, you've never heard. Look, Rule 34.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Okay,
true.
that's all I got to say. Rule
That
34.
normally applies to like
That's
like animated renditions of stuff, not actual like.
well, that's
I
well.
mean, the
See,
websites.
that
Yeah,
goes down a
well,
whole different
the
avenue now.
websites I go to say no.
I go to a
uh,
more posh, regal website that discusses. Oh Lord, have
Pop something.
mercy. Yep, exactly. I'm gonna have to go with hairy body.
Okay.
Absolutely hairy body because I've already had a hairy body and
Yeah.
I already know the crap that you have to deal with. I
No.
mean, don't get me wrong. Do you realize the grooming that's involved with that thing? I
Right.
mean, come on, we're talking. Hey man, it's like Bigfoot, aka Chewbacca.
Yeah.
So what's the
And the other
difference?
thing too is like if you have body odor that can be detected across the yard, I'm assuming that you take a shower and it doesn't help. Whereas if you're hairy like Bigfoot,
Right.
like as long as it's not growing like at an exponential rate, because you're still human, you're not like a
Well,
mythical creature. You can shave it off,
yeah, you could shave it
so you'll
off.
be all right.
Could technically.
Yeah.
I think that kind of defeats the purpose, though. And believe
Mm,
me, do you realize how difficult it would be to shave all that off? Oh my god,
true.
dude! Don't even ask for a Brazilian wax.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh.
Wow. I mean, shoot. By the time you finish shaving off your leg, and you get to the second
Yeah.
leg, your first leg's all hairy again. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, you could go in with some hedge trimmers. You'll be all right.
There you go. Cut off some limbs too in the process. Way to go, Jay.
Yeah. Why not?
Well,
Just cut it off.
somebody's going to lose a finger.
Yeah. I have too many appendages. I'm gonna cut one off. Which one?
Yes.
You'll find
Well,
out.
wait a minute. Whoops. Nope. Okay. Well, so much for
Sure.
reproductive.
Oh man. For my next act, I will juggle these hedge trimmers while they're.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Would you rather only be able to tell lies, or have to scream out every true thought that crosses your mind?
Wow.
Mm.
So I used to lie when I was a kid,
We all did.
but my mom could always tell. My mom could always tell when I was lying.
Yeah.
And then, of course, then when the roles got reversed, when I became a parent, and my son would lie, I could pretty much tell when my son was lying too. Of course, the phrase that I used to use with my son, I always know when you're lying. He's like, "When? How's that, Dad? Because your lips are moving."
Mm.
It got so habitual that he was just lying all the time, just to hush us up, just so we could. We're like, "What'd you do? Oh yeah, you did that. Oh okay," and then we just go on about our way. Well, we picked up on that trick,
Yeah.
and yeah, yeah. We were like, "No, don't believe you. Keep going, keep going." So yeah, to be able to always lie, yeah, I'm sorry, it's a tangled web that you weave when you lie.
Sure.
Totally.
Yeah. But if you're always telling
But at the
lies,
same
you'll
time,
never trip yourself up because you'll always be lying.
well,
You'll just keep building up more lies. They'll get more and more outlandish.
yeah,
Eventually, you'll say,
I
like, I was
guess
the president of the
so.
United States, 2 terms ago. Some kind of crap like that.
Well, you were.
Oh, sure.
Well, you were,
Sure
Jay.
was.
You were the president 2 terms
Sure
ago.
was.
Exactly.
Sure
Yeah, you were
was.
Trump.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. I love it. No, I'd have to go with the scream out. No, yeah, tell lies because I can't scream out the truth. I mean, you know how much we depend on that little voice in our head, that filter, and to not have that filter and be like a child again. No,
So wait a minute. What you're telling me that if you're going to say the truth, you have to
yeah,
scream out the truth. It doesn't say anything about the filter.
no, I have to scream out every true thought that crosses your mind every time,
Ah, okay,
which
okay.
I could not do. I mean, I genuinely there's that I rely very much on that filter. That's all I'll say. I couldn't say
I get
everything.
it. I get it. You
You
rely
know,
on your filter because if you don't have
yeah.
that filter,
If I
then
screamed out every true
you
thought
can
I
get
had in my
yourself in a lot more
mind,
trouble.
I wouldn't have any friends. I
You
would have
probably
no
get your ass
friends.
beat. That's
Uh,
terrible. That's terrible, Jay. I hate to say what you think about
uh,
me. My
no, I
goodness.
like you.
Yep, there's that filter again.
No, I like you. No, I mean, everybody has
Okay.
their things they say. People
Oof.
I feel like every kind of rib that you give somebody is also usually is based in a sliver of truth, even though it might be very exaggerated. At the same time, and so if it's based in that sliver of truth, they no longer be a sliver because you're just going to straight out say what you think. And we've had some conversations
True.
where I've said some stuff that's like, all right, yeah, man,
Maybe
I
I
have to
gotta
back
back it
up,
up a little bit. Yeah, yeah, yep, yep. Because you got a little, went a
Yeah,
little too far, got a little too honest or something
yeah,
about something, and we're just like, "Wow,
yeah.
that I
We're
didn't know that's
all
how you
we're all
felt,"
human.
type
Everybody
thing.
has feelings.
Sure.
If you just straight up say your true intentions every time that comes across your head, maybe the world would be a better place. Everybody would be open and honest, but we'd all be pissed off at each other.
I mean, I've always felt like I said, I used to lie when I was a kid, and nowadays, the truth has set me
Yes,
free, and I don't like
right,
lying. I mean, obviously, there are certain things that I
right,
like tell my daughter, because again, she's 8, she
right.
doesn't need to know some of the real world stuff at the age of 8. Okay, let me explain to you about the
Mm-hmm.
economy
Mm-hmm.
and politics. Yeah, and no, in due time, she will see how
Yeah,
corrupt the world is.
of course.
When she starts looking at videos that show somebody with a tire iron
Mm,
whacking an animated figure, if you will, and blood
mm-hmm.
splattering all over the place. No, I don't need to sit there and explain to her. And look, I just need to tell her this is just not appropriate for an
Yeah,
8-year old. Okay, you're not going to
right.
watch this. So I'm being honest with her because let's be fair, it's not appropriate for an
Mm-hmm.
8-year old. But then I got to sit here and explain what was
Mm-hmm.
going on to her. I mean, yeah, well, they were playing, but they were
Yeah,
not playing in a nice way, kind of
yeah.
stuff.
Which is a
So I get
that's a
it.
white lie. I mean, it happens. Sometimes you have to tell these little white lies to be able to get through certain situations. I don't know.
Yeah, but telling the truth is
It is,
so
but I don't know a
important.
single person who is 100% truthful. If you have someone who's 100% truthful, that person needs to be like the freaking Pope or something. I don't know.
Yeah, may he
Yes, I
rest, may Pope
know.
Francis
Rest in
rest his
peace,
soul.
man. Mm,
Mm-hmm. Yep, yep. Crazy,
yeah,
absolutely crazy. But these
yeah,
things happen. I mean, he lived a
yeah.
long life and tried to do good for
88.
his church.
Mm-hmm.
And so back to the
Mm-hmm.
lecture at hand. Honestly, man, I don't like the
Okay.
lying because I've been lied
Yeah.
to and that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna have to go with telling the truth, but I'm gonna have to
Mm,
scream it out. And I gotta and to be honest about the whole thing. You'd be screaming out the truth so much, it'd probably take maybe a day, and then your voice is hoarse, and you won't be able to talk anymore.
yeah, that's true.
So there you go. But so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go telling the truth because
No.
as much as it's difficult to
Mm-hmm.
do, it's in my mind it's equally as difficult to tell the lie because if you start telling lies over and over and over again, then you have. I hate to put it this way, but it's almost like you don't really have a
Mm,
conscience. You don't have that moral compass to guide you.
right.
And if you don't have that moral compass to
Mm-hmm.
guide you and put you in the right directions of things, it could lead down a bad path in my mind.
Yeah.
Whereas telling the truth, yes, you could lead you also down a bad path. I mean,
Yeah.
in all fairness, you could rank this like in a zealot form, because all you can do is tell the truth
Mm-hmm.
over and over again to any particular situation. And if you see something, you have to say something or whatever
Yeah.
that may be. It
Okay.
kind of puts you in a zealot format, but
Okay. To each their own, because I'm going the other way, man. I'd have to
I
say
know
the
you are.
lying.
I know you are. I
Yeah,
know
the
you are.
lie.
I get it.
Because to be you start telling the truth, you'll become a social pariah because you will say everything that's on your damn mind.
That is
Um,
true.
but
But I do that
then,
already.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, you don't. You have a filter. You have a
I
filter.
do have a filter.
Yeah,
Sure, I've got a
yeah.
filter, but I mean, I also speak what's on my mind, but I also learn to listen.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned over the years just to listen to what other people have to say, and that's why we're doing this. That's why we
Yeah,
got the topic going on.
yeah,
That's why we're trying to figure it out. I mean,
yeah.
I could have a strong opinion about something, and then you come forward with your opinion, and I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? You've changed my mind. I love it.
Right.
But telling the truth,
Yeah.
I think that's important.
The
I do. I still
concept
think
of
that's
telling the
important.
truth is very important. Let's get that 100%
Yeah,
true,
yeah,
100% out there like that. Of course, telling the truth is always going to be important. But in the
yeah.
context of this question, having to yell out everything you think is true, nah.
Hey, you should have one horse voice, buddy. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, sure. And now it's time for this you call news.
And now for this you call news. Article number one, we have Jay.
Thank you, Mitch. Well, article number one is called Scalpers Caught Selling Free DMV Appointments for $250 in Miami. This is back on March 19th, 2025. So, a scheduled trip to renew your driver's license in South Florida is so highly sought after that you'd assumed Taylor Swift was performing live. The Miami-Dade County Tax Collector's Office announced on Monday that it uncovered a network of scalpers who hoarded free DMV appointments and resold them for up to $250. While the office is taking steps to stomp out the exploitative practice, going to the DMV has become such a torturous experience that drivers were willing to shell out to avoid it in the first place. Scalpers amassed appointments using bots and fake accounts to exploit an online system. The tax collector's office spotted 200 suspicious appointments in the first 3 weeks after opening a new downtown Miami location for driver's license services. The agency has set its sights on individuals who are part of local driving schools as suspects in strangling the DMV system. The tax collector Daniel Fernandez said in a release, "We know who they are and how they operate. We will not accept any appointment obtained through system abuse. Our office is committed to ensuring that all residents have fair and equal access to services without interference from those seeking to exploit the system."
So they cut them off.
That's right. It just goes on to talk about more generic stuff.
All
But,
right. So wait a minute here.
yeah.
These are what you call some interesting entrepreneurs.
Yeah. I mean, you're taking
Truly.
something that's 100% free, and I mean, people are really just buying their way into getting a DMV appointment that's early in the day.
That's right.
Like, really?
That's right.
Really?
You want your 9 a.m. appointment, buddy? It'll cost you.
It's insane. It's
Oh my
insane.
God! Come on, they're
it's
just looking to gain a quick buck, Jay.
yeah.
What's
Look
the
at you.
harm? There's nothing wrong with this. This is perfectly. I sense no danger here.
Yeah, you're Ralph on the school bus in The Simpsons. Like, I'm
There
perfectly
you
fine.
go.
There's no,
That's right.
yeah, I'm no danger. Hi, Super Nintendo Charmers. Anyway,
Remain calm.
yeah,
All is
remain
well.
calm. Yeah, no, horrible. Why would you? I mean, I don't know. How would you even have the idea to buy free appointments and resell them for $250? And the fact that
Well,
people are yes, I'll go with that.
okay, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Let's think about. Let's take another step on this. Okay,
Mm.
these guys thought this whole thing out and literally booked all of these appointments, 200 appointments, and then started selling them. But what's worse is people started to buy them.
Yeah. How
So
were these like
yeah,
on Craigslist? How did they find out they were available for sale? Is this on eBay?
I have no idea. Does it say in the article how
It
they
does not
actually?
say how they did
So
it. It just
I
somehow
mean,
they just found out.
you know what?
No.
If look, it's just like all right. So the latest craze that's been coming out right now is the whole. I've been getting texts saying that my Easy Pass has got a fine on it, and
Oh
I got to
yeah,
pay that. Otherwise,
hate
I won't be
that.
able to use my Easy Pass, and you got to get it all
Yes,
done by now, right? Okay.
right.
Clearly, I know it's a scam. Okay, I
Mhm.
know it's a scam. So I'm not even. All I do is say report as spam, and on my phone, and it edits it out, and there you
Mhm.
go. I don't have to see it again. But guess what? It still comes back. Now,
Yeah.
my guess is these guys are probably like maybe they're there at the location. Is probably what it is. They're probably at the location. They're like, oh man, I got to wait in line. Hey, if you want, you can get an earlier appointment. Yeah, it's just $250 to get an earlier appointment. You can get it right now. Really? Yeah.
Mm.
I got an opening at 10:15, and it's 10 o'clock. Oh, How much is it? $250, and I can do it right now. All right, I'll take the appointment.
Yeah.
Right
I
then
mean,
and there.
I've never gotten a license in Florida and South Miami, South Florida, Miami, Florida. I'm assuming it's real awful that people are like really willing to just go ahead and like buy for $250. Because here in Virginia in the DMV, yeah, it's still a DMV, but I mean, you go to the right
Uh,
one, you can get in and out real quick. No,
well,
I mean no, the
actually,
one that's down near what is it for First Colonial or whatever? That one's pretty quick.
First Colonial is pretty quick. I do know
Mhm.
that. And during COVID, it was a real pain in the butt. And I
Oh
can tell you
yeah,
many a story
horses.
about that with
Yeah.
my son getting his license and all that fun jazz. We had actually had to make another appointment for him to go get his license. And we had to make an appointment for that DMV as well, that specific DMV, so he could get his license for
Mm.
something. I can't remember specifically what it was. But we actually got it through my dad because he knew somebody that worked at the DMV, and
Mm.
she got us that particular appointment at that particular time at this particular day. And literally, it was like done within like 2 days. But if we did it through Chesapeake, it
Mm.
was literally, Jay, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Absolutely insane.
Good
Absolutely insane. All
God.
during COVID. It was totally nuts. So,
Oh,
yeah, if there's a long wait and it takes
yeah.
weeks and weeks and weeks to get this thing
Well,
going,
that's
$250 doesn't sound too bad, pal.
no, but that's extreme circumstances. I mean, COVID
Right,
ruined everything.
right.
COVID messed up what we thought was a normal way of life.
Now the
That
DMV in
yeah.
Chesapeake. Well, I would say that there's multiple DMVs in Chesapeake, but the one that I know of off of was it Greenbrier or whatever it is.
Mm.
That one, dude. I remember going to the DMV with my son to get his learner's permit, and that was just before COVID.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, pain in the ass,
Really.
total pain in the ass, dude. I was like, we got to go early. We got to go early because if we don't go early, we're not going to get in line. So we're there at like 7:30 in the freaking morning, and the
Hmm.
place opens at 8, and we're like 20th in line.
Jeez.
We're there for 2 hours,
Yeah.
2 hours
Yeah.
before our number is even called.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, COVID, they started restricting you to the number of people that could even go inside the building.
Mm-hmm.
So you still stood in line, but you had to stand in line 6 feet apart on top of that. Oh my God, it was insane.
Yeah.
Then they finally said, okay, well, you can make appointments. Great. Appointments were pushed out 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
was. That's when it got really nuts. But again, and yeah, some DMVs are fine. I mean, I remember when I got my driver's license, so many years ago, I went to the DMV over there by TCC in Virginia Beach,
Yeah.
and dude, I was in and out within 20 minutes.
Yeah. See, that one's the one I don't
I
go
even took the
there.
driver course. Oh, dude, I took my driver's course on that one.
Yeah.
That was the easiest driver's course I ever taken.
Mm-hmm.
Literally drove into a housing development, 25 miles an hour, made a right hand turn, another right hand turn, then another right hand turn, and then a left hand turn back into the parking lot.
Yeah.
Never got over 35. Got my license.
Hmm.
Easiest daggone driving test I ever
See,
took.
for me,
Then,
I did it all through high school, and they had
yeah,
a very involved. Like you had to do like the
right,
parallel parking. You had to
yeah.
do all that stuff,
Oh, I
and
didn't
then
have to do parallel
you
parking.
had to drive on the interstate. It's like all this
Yeah.
extra
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did that too, but I missed one stop sign during the driving course.
Mm.
One stop sign in a residential area, and they said you had to go take the driving course because I missed the one stop sign. And I argued with the instructor because that one stop sign was obstructed. And I was like, hang on a minute. If
Oh.
we read the book, if we read the DMV manual, stop signs cannot be obstructed within like 50 feet. There should be no obstructions. And
Obstructed in what
literally,
way?
there was a huge like tree or bush that
Oh.
was literally blocking the stop sign. I
Yeah.
didn't see the stop sign until I was on top of the stop sign.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
so
by
I'm
then
like,
it's too late.
by then it's too late. I've already crossed the intersection.
Sure.
And I mean, and of course, he kind of looked at me. I was like, dude, you cannot deduct me for that. There's no freaking way. You should know. You should come up. You should have proceeded with caution. You should have at least yielded, put your foot on the brake, something to that effect. And I'm like,
Mm.
no, I didn't see a stop sign. Therefore, I shouldn't see it. Plus, the stop sign's obstructed. I said, if I took that sucker to court, the judge would agree with me and say this sign is obstructed.
Mm-hmm.
And I also had it within the rights as far
Yeah.
as what the DMV booklet was saying. Because again, when I looked at it, and of course this is a longer time ago, but still,
Yeah.
They can't. A sign cannot be obstructed within 50 feet. It was
Yeah.
clearly obstructed. I'm
So,
like,
so did they listen to you, or they still said no, no,
no,
no?
no. I still had to go take the driving portion. I didn't have
Yeah.
to take the written. I passed the written, but I had to go take the driving portion.
Yeah.
So yeah,
The written
crazy,
section,
crazy shit.
I went the first time and I failed. My dad took me to the to that one that was over there at the TCC, and then I
Yeah,
told him like,
yeah.
hey, yeah, he's like, how'd you do? And I said, well, I failed. He said, well, you can get him next time, and sure enough,
Yep.
got him next time. Like it took me 2 tries to do the written. It
4 times
sucks.
for my son.
Oh yeah, I mean some of those
Yeah.
questions are tricky. Like when you look at the
Well,
the signs and stuff. Like you don't know all the signs you do now, but
the signs nowadays, you have to get a perfect 10 out of 10. You cannot
really
miss a sign. If you miss a sign, you're
sucks.
done. Yep.
Sucks. I
Yep.
hate that.
The other portion of the test, you can miss like two
Hmm.
and you can still pass. But if you miss one sign, you're done.
Hmm.
That was his problem. He couldn't remember the signs. So I had to quiz him on the signs. Like we literally did flashcards so he could
Oh.
remember it that way. And he got it. He got it.
Hmm.
But it was like the fourth try that we finally got it. And yeah, it was bad. But
It's
he
interesting
got it.
that that one at that TCC they have the touch screens, and I think they have
Mm-hmm.
them at First Colonial also. But when I
Yeah,
went
yeah.
there like not too long ago, they're using old Scantrons.
It all depends on the system. Like if the
Yeah,
system
maybe
goes
this isn't
down or
down.
whatever it is.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
so.
that's all it is. System
All
goes
right,
down, they go back to the old paper
okay,
version. Anyways,
okay. Well, all right. That's it for article number one. And article number two. Here
yes.
is Mitch of Lumpia Lotkeys. Mitch.
Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly, sir. So this came out April 17th of this year. There is an unusual startup announced for the world's first sperm race. A race
Uh,
involving actual
excuse me.
sperm will be held. Yes, actual sperm. The article states world's first sperm race to be held in Los Angeles. It is the world's first sperm race to be held on April 25th, which is in 4 days here, or whatever, however many days, at the Hollywood Palladium in Los Angeles. Sperm racing is started by a team of young millionaires, announced representatives from two competing schools, University of Southern California and University of California, Los Angeles, will provide the microscopic swimmers for the inaugural sperm race. The race will take place under a microscope camera that will track the progress of the sperms as they attempt to cross the finish line. The startup said there will be 3 races held to determine the overall winner, and play-by-play commentary will be provided during each heat. There will also be instant replays, leaderboards, and betting through approved partners. Sperm racing isn't just about racing sperm, although let's be honest, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Co-founder Eric Zhu wrote in the Sperm Racing Manifesto. It's about turning health into a competition.
Oh,
It's about making male fertility something people actually want to talk about,
okay.
track, and improve. Okay. He says that health is a race, and everyone deserves a shot at the starting line. Seriously.
So, did they say, is there like a little track that they made for these sperm to go down? I don't understand.
Here's what I want to know. How you pinning the numbers?
I know, right? How do you tell one from the other? I don't get it.
I don't know. How are you going to track them?
Yeah.
How are you going to track one from the other? I mean, are they going to like digitally? And I think they must digitally enhance it or something like that, so that way they can put a digital code on it and tag it and say, okay, you got to follow the tail or you got to follow the head of the sperm or something like that. And where's the starting line? Yeah. What's the finish line?
And who in the world are these color commentators? Like, are we on like some random ass channel of ESPN that I've never seen? I probably don't want that channel. I really don't.
I honestly, I think we need to get Pat McAfee from the Pat McAfee show to go ahead and do the commentary. Okay. I think he would be really good at it. I mean, he just did WWE and he does Monday Night Raw.
Okay.
So yeah, I think he'd be a good contestant for that whole thing. He's a good color commentator for them. So I think we encourage that. Yeah, I would definitely.
No, I think we need to get. We need to reanimate the corpse of that guy. Who's that guy? The one that Will Ferrell did the impression of. Hi. What's that guy? Who's that guy's name? He's a baseball guy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was in Major League.
What's his freaking name?
Oh man, I can't think of the guy's name. I got to figure it out. Yeah. Hang on. It was
one of my favorite things. That's the guy's name.
Bob Uecker.
Is that it?
Bob Uecker.
Are you
Yep.
sure?
Bob Ecker or Uecker? Uecker. Yeah, he was the color commentator for baseball. He was a baseball color commentator for years and years and years. That's the guy. I'm telling you, he's the guy. He's the one. He would have been great. God rest his soul. He would have been absolutely fabulous in my opinion.
Carey.
He would have been perfect.
Harry Carey.
Yeah, okay.
Harry Carey. Is he baseball? Who is he? Is he baseball?
I don't remember who Harry Carey did for, man.
He was a famous dude that's like, hey, you guys ever watch the sports? I don't know. That's a bad impression. But Will Ferrell did much better. Everybody look for Will Ferrell on SNL. I don't know. Harry Carey.
Yeah.
Harry Carey, American sports commentator, died in 1998, February 18, 1998. Yeah, Major League Baseball.
Yeah, he did. Looks like he did St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah. 25 years.
St. Louis Browns, Oakland A's, Chicago White Sox, Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, last 16 years for the Chicago Cubs.
Yep.
So 16 out of 25 years for the Cubs. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. That works. But yeah, how are you going to track that too? I mean, gosh. But I want to know what the odds are because I'm thinking of making a bet.
You're going to make a bet on that? Okay.
I mean, why not? I mean, but I mean, there's a link in the article. So yeah, I might find out and make a little side bet myself. I mean, come on, man. There's only what, 1 million involved. I mean, come on, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, how many sperm comes out in one little money shot? You know, I don't know.
And they're really just gonna. Okay. I don't know.
But yeah, I'm sorry. I found this absolutely
so weird.
Just to me. It's so freaking awesome.
What a strange thing. You said it's Vegas?
No, this is going to be happening in Los Angeles.
All right.
Yeah, this whole thing's happening in Los Angeles.
Of course I thought Vegas, because, Vegas. Why would it not?
Anything gambling.
Well, that and amongst all other things, Sodom and Gomorrah. I don't know.
Yeah. But the best part, it's a startup founded by a team of young millionaires.
Yeah. Young millionaires.
They got nothing better to do with their money than just to say, let's do a sperm race.
Yeah. That truly has me speechless for that one. That's I can't believe you found that article, and I can't believe we talked about it. That's really weird.
What is the world coming to?
What in the world, man? What in the world? I don't know.
It's great. I'm sorry. Where else in the world can you have a discussion about a sperm race? Only in America, people.
Only in America. Yeah. Sure.
It's been a blast as always.
Yep. And that is it for this episode. And as always, my name is Mitch. No, my name's not Mitch. Whoops. What is going on? My brain just cannot keep up today.
And I'm Jay.
That's right. Yeah, scratch that. Reverse it. No, as always, my name is Jay.
And I'm Mitch.
Yes, your name is Mitch. And
yes,
we'll catch you again on the next episode of Lumpia and Lotkeys. If you should or would like to contact us, please find us at our Facebook page, Lumpia and Lotkeys. We will be glad to hear from you.